My name is Arun,
No,
otherwise known as Arunatic5. With me today is Sweet, some numbers as well, otherwise known as
it's
Adam.
not that hard. It's 44722.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, but
I was like that kid where all my friends were busy using like Fower Fairy 1991 for their email addresses. I was really annoyed at that. So whenever I see numbers, it's just like, boom, I don't care for numbers.
good to know you don't care. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, quote me on that. I don't care.
On your
So
gravestone.
this is podcast number nine. Titling this one "As Smooth as Conyak."
Yeah, we're
Who
without
both
James this time around
Connor
though.
McDavid and Neil Yakupov. That's their nickname right now, Conyak. Um, they helped each other to a 7 game point streak.
McDavid continued to 8.
Oh,
He got
he
a
got a
point. He got a
point?
point last night. Yep.
Oh, cool. I
So
didn't notice that.
Nails ended at 7. Actually,
So,
fun fact: he's 1 game away from tying Gagne Gagne's rookie Oilers point streak record, most number of games in a rookie season with
yeah.
a point at
Gagne had a
9.
really good rookie season. It's too bad that he was never able to replicate that afterward. Anyway, you can catch this podcast if you're one of the people that are listening to us afterward. You can be able to catch us, the audio version on archive.com. Just
.org.
search for our Oilers. Also, you can find us on our YouTube page. If you're already here, fantastic. If you're on our archive site, it's just our space Oilers.
And
Uh,
we are trying to set up an RSS feed for the iTunes thing,
yeah,
but it
and
doesn't
the
help
Android
when
thing.
you don't know what you're doing, even with directions. It's pretty bad.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I should also mention that I'll be doing Movember because I'm cool, and Arun is not because he's a loser. So you guys should encourage him to do it.
I mean, like, I don't look good in a mustache. I look like my
Not many
dad in a
people do, but that's the
mustache.
point.
Whatever.
I mean,
Anyway,
the Oilers gonna do it.
I would encourage everyone, regardless, to participate in Yak Charity. Yak Charity is an initiative that our Edmonton Oilers is putting on at the moment, where basically for every goal and every assist, you can decide how much you want to donate. That Yakupov scores, you donate a certain amount of money towards the Youth Empowerment Support Services, otherwise known as YESS.
In Edmonton too. Yep.
Just said yes. So that's the charity basically in Edmonton where it's designated towards helping adolescents that are homeless.
It's yeah, and it offers everything from homeless shelters to support services, counseling, and all that good stuff. Stuff that you
And I
need
have
on your team.
volunteered with them in the past, so I can absolutely tell you that
There you go, even better.
it's an absolute necessity and it's a great service. Anyway, I guess
Hockey.
we can get started with outside of Oilers, just because Oilers are really
Yep.
depressing right now. League roundup. So Montreal's crazy start. Adam, you want to give it a shot?
Yeah. Well, when I originally wrote that down, they were still 9-0, and then they
Hmm.
lost to who did they lose to initially?
Vancouver, then us.
Right. So they lost to Vancouver, and then we kind of put the woodwork to them. And
Hmm.
that was a great game too. That didn't start out very well. And that's something I'm gonna key in on later actually about the play of the team. But it was
Hmm.
a good start. Uh, not well, sorry, not a great start to the game. Good start for the Habs, and they came back in the third. Am I boring you, Arun?
No, I'm just really
Uh huh.
tired, dude.
Whatever. Anyway, so Montreal started 9-2. I still think they're probably a cup favorite right now. They were a good team going in, but out actually. Speaking on that, Carey Price is out
Yeah,
for a while, so that might
2 to 4 weeks is
yeah.
what's saying.
So Condon has to save them. I still think
Don't
he has the
worry.
best save
They
in
have the
best wing in
semen
hockey.
and the condom,
What is it
so you're
like?
fine.
Is it 90? Is they were there? It's effective 99.8% of the time or something like that. So
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, and
my
then
thoughts on that.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Uh, yeah, my thoughts on that is basically I don't think they're cup contenders.
No,
I think it's a hot streak, and that's basically it. It also has to do with the fact that the East is significantly worse than the
yeah,
West. I
yeah,
feel as though all of the strong East teams this year all started really weak as well. Like
minus the Caps.
no, except for the Caps, of course. Caps are doing really well.
Mm.
The Caps is yeah fantastic.
The Central is a joke. Like, what is wrong with them? Why can't they just bring it down a little bit?
Yeah.
It's just
That's also the reason why I sort of don't like the new divisions. Just because like there's so many good teams in the Central, and that guarantees that only like maximum of four teams. Four or two?
two.
No, four.
Well, because no, because it's
Two wild card, right?
yeah.
So four teams can make it out.
Yeah, 4 teams make it out of the Central. In theory, all five
Yeah.
could, but it's not gonna happen
And
in
then it's
Colorado.
guaranteed that two Pacific teams will make it out.
Yeah.
So there's very little control in that. Anyway, next topic. Tortorella
Oh,
and Columbus is nonsense. What's up?
I was gonna say before that, who do you think has of the best start so far? Who do you think is gonna reverse their luck so far? So looking at the standings here, which I'll pull up real quick. If we're looking at the standings, we have Montreal on top, Washington is second in their conference, then Rangers, Islanders, Pens, Boston. Whereas in the West, you have Dallas, St. Louis, Nashville, Minnesota, Winnipeg, LA, Vancouver. Who do you think out of that list, or that on the in the standings, will reverse their luck they've had thus far this season?
So the fact that they're doing well.
Or well or poorly. Like for example, for me, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna do one of each.
Okay, yeah. Well, I suppose
I'm gonna say this. This might surprise some people, but I'm gonna say the Stars will start doing poorly.
Really, why is that?
Yes. Because right now, like it's their offensive strategy is fantastic. It's just
They're
constant
literally
offense.
all offense.
But the key thing about what's making the Stars work right now was the fact that they're all healthy. And when
True.
the injuries come beyond their top six, there's not much afterward.
I mean,
Right?
isn't Hemsky on their third line?
But Hemsky wouldn't like
He's
would
not.
be
He's
on
not a
our
huge
third line
contributor,
too.
but like if you have a player step up, I don't know.
When has Hemsky stepped up when he needed to step up?
Stepped up into the press box when he got injured, which was pretty
That's true.
frequently.
It's true. Well put, right there.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah, it's tough, but it's true. But so what their goaltending?
I think their goaltending it's smart. It's a lot of money into two players, but it's also smart for this season, just in case like one guy does poorly, then immediately it's the next guy going in.
Who are your
Um,
starters this year?
Niemi and Letnin.
Right, and yeah, well, the thing
One
about
in.
Ledinen, he hasn't been playing that badly.
They've both been playing well, and like according to Friedman, it's basically what's going on right now. It's the fact that they're both playing well, so there's no reason for them to like swap or competition between them because
Hmm.
they're both Finnish goaltenders, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
they're countrymen.
looking at their stats right now, Niemi's 6-1 with a 9.15 and a 2.61, and
Hmm.
Lettinen is 3-1 with an 8.98 and a 300. So, I'm guessing what happens is Niemi's probably is straight up the starter, but Lettinen hasn't been as bad as his record says.
No, it's just swapping.
Yeah.
Right now, nothing is solidified. That is just being worked out
Do
right
you
now.
do you see Niemi continuing the way he is though?
Oh, hmm.
Do you see him being at because
Oh.
he's a league average goaltender and he's playing at about
He's
that
a
right
league, yeah,
now.
he's a league average goaltender. And what's getting good for them right now, what's working for the Stars, is the fact that they have so much gunning offense. And they got a good start. They played us what once.
Once
They played
oh,
Coyotes. They
the
played
Coyotes
easy.
are good right now though. That's a weird thing. No,
No,
they're starting to regress again, but they
they're
started really
starting to
well.
regress.
Yeah,
They've lost. They got blown out like two, three times now.
they have played San Jose, Vancouver, Anaheim, Florida, Pittsburgh in the
They
last
got blown
5
out by a
games.
bunch of them. So I don't know. I'm like a good question mark, and I think Phoenix is gonna regress, but it's already happening, so there's no point in saying that.
Yeah,
And hi, Robert Paulson. Yes, Hemsky is better than Purcell. But that being said, Hemsky's also paid more than Purcell.
yeah. Really? That's kind of depressing. Oh,
Isn't he still on our old No, no. Never mind. I'm wrong.
he was
So
traded to Ottawa and then signed a new one
that being said, I would prefer a Purcell over a Hemsky.
because he doesn't get injured as often.
Yes.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Like it's kind of a thing where you have to like, oh yes, he's gonna be better
There's
while
more
he's
to a
healthy.
team dynamic than just like good players.
How long is he gonna be healthy for is the issue,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
For me anyway, going back to that question, for me, I think I keep looking at the Ducks and going, there's no way they could be this bad for this long. Like the way Freddie Anderson's playing and the way their offense
I
is going. The caveat in that is if Boudreaux gets fired, they are screwed. Because Boudreaux
Yes,
is a good coach, and the rumor is
he
they're
is a
going to
good
hire
coach.
Carlisle, which would be hilarious and would
Depressing.
tank the Ducks. But, like
Uh,
Getzlaff hasn't scored, Perry hasn't scored, Kessler hasn't scored. Something's
in
got to give.
terms of my bottom team that I think is gonna get better, I was originally gonna say Columbus if they hung on to their old coach,
Will
uh,
Torts.
but that didn't happen. I still think, like honestly, I thought it was just a poor start, just a bad streak to start the season.
Have been playing better.
They have been playing better, but I do think Calgary will get better. Um,
Yeah.
I
I
feel it's like the return of Brody and the fact that Hamilton is slowly starting to get into the groove of things will just help out their defense much more. And if they can improve their shot production, because that's their problem right now, their shot production is really bad. But their shot suppression, uh, if it's anything like last season, they should be okay.
I think with the Flames that everybody's yelling aggression, but I think as much of it is both their goaltenders have been like as bad as Scrivens and Fast last year. And
Yeah.
Ortiz.
Actually, one quick point.
Yep.
Hemsky and Purcell are basically the same because they're both 4 million.
Hmm. All right. Don't know.
So
I'd rather neither of them at this point.
yeah,
But actually, on that note, Purcell has been playing better the last couple
there
games.
you
I
go.
don't know. You probably noticed that too. But he picked up a
Yeah.
goal last night, and he
Two
has
goals in
looked
three
better.
games.
Hmm.
2 goals in 3 games,
Yeah,
isn't it?
and he has looked better, and he's still playing on that third line. That third line was our fourth line was awful last
I'm
night, but our
losing
third
my
line was not
patience
very
with
good either.
Lander on that third line.
Sorry.
I'm losing my patience with Lander on that third
Oh
line.
God. Okay, so are we gonna move
Let,
on?
let's not go into that right now.
No.
Let's
All
keep
right, we'll
going
keep
with our
that for later. Okay.
points. So Calgary's regression. Are you surprised or really not?
Um, I'm kind of I like the whole advanced stats thing, right? So I'm more of an advanced
Mm,
stats guy, but at the same time one of the main caveats with stats is that they don't tell the whole story.
yeah.
But with the Flames, when you're that bad with the advanced stats, like Colorado was a couple years ago, regression is going to happen. But
Yes.
regression for the Flames could mean regression towards their expected performance this year, which would be like middle of pack. What I'm surprised about more is their defense has been this god awful. Like I didn't expect their defense to be this bad this early because their defense looks as bad as or worse than ours. And a lot of people were saying that their defense should
Hmm.
have been top 5 in the league this year. And for me, that's
Yeah.
surprising.
I
Um,
mean, it's only been 10 games,
yeah, that's the other thing is that we're an eighth of the way through the season. Like
and they've lost Brody for a lot of it.
wasn't he back yesterday?
Yeah, yeah. He's been back for what, 2 games?
I think so, and that's gonna help a lot too. But
Yeah.
Hamilton hasn't fit well. When he finds his groove, he'll get going. They'll be okay. I think, unfortunately, but no, I surprised isn't the right word. I think it's more amazement that they've started this poorly because everybody expected them to do a lot better, especially with that defense. I mean, Johnny
Hmm.
Gaudreau he's got what 13 points, 13 or 14 points now in their 10 games, 12 games. So he's been productive for them.
It is.
So
Honestly, it's not too much of a surprise for me. I thought their advanced stats would at least improve a bit this season, just with the addition of Hamilton and the fact that their offensive players like Bennett would come in and players would start playing a little bit better. My concern with basically what happened with Calgary is that they started off with a really poor shooting percentage.
mhm.
And what they really depended on last season was a really high shooting percentage where they would shoot significantly less than the other team, but more shots would go in. And there's Adam with the Tim Hortons ad placement.
I work
Um,
for Timmy's. Come on.
anyway, so Calgary's regression, honestly, it's bigger than I thought it would be. I still think they'll come back in. I don't think
Yep.
they're going to be a playoff team this season,
Mm.
but I think they'll be higher than Edmonton in the standings
I was
right
just about to ask that. Yeah. Actually, surprise team in the Pacific. Before we move on, San Jose. How do you think they'll?
I really do not know what's going on there. Like they're getting shots,
You
ish.
know what I'm amazed at?
Yeah.
That Peter DeBoer is coaching that team and they're actually scoring.
Which?
San Jose.
Oh, San Jose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're scoring goals with Peter DeBoer as their coach, which is
San Jose is. I think San Jose just started hot.
San
They
Jose is an
start hot
enigma.
every single
I
time.
can't tell
I
whether
I think they're gonna regress a little bit just because
well Martin
Martin Jones
Jones
is
is.
not as good as a goaltender, and they have
I don't
Stalock
know,
as
dude.
number
He's been
two.
he's been pretty goddamn solid, and
Who?
he was good with LA. He
Jones?
had really good stats. Jones has been very good. Uh,
No, he hasn't.
I will double check his
He
stats.
started off with three shutouts,
Yep.
and then since then his save percentage is in 900 or below.
I will double check his stats. He is 5-3-0 with a 9.38 and a 1.74.
938. 938. Hold on. I want you to express this, okay? That's 8 games played, three of which was a shutout,
Yeah.
and he's a 938.
Yeah. So that's yeah. You're right. He's been a lot. That
He's
regression
been
has been quite
worse.
a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that
I-
1.74 is pretty like even if you have two zeros in there out of eight
mhm.
games, that's pretty solid. So he's played well.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. What about the Ducks then? Do you see Carlisle coming in?
I don't. So the way that I put it last week was that if the Ducks didn't win more than three of their next like 10 games, where if they go less than 500 their next 10, I think
Hmm.
Carlisle's gone.
Yeah,
If they keep
I mean Boudreaux's gone.
Boudreaux, sorry, Carlisle's in, Boudreaux's gone. Whether they actually go for Carlisle, I'm not sure. But he seems to be their front runner from rumors thus far, and I don't know. The Ducks schedule. The thing about the Ducks schedule is that it's tough. Like I don't know if I looked. It was like Chicago, Pittsburgh, L.A. a couple times. Like I'm checking my phone, which is why my head is down the entire time. But
Hmm.
they have a tough schedule coming up, and I don't see them, especially with the way they've been playing. I don't see them pulling out a whole lot of wins in the next little bit. I'm trying to look at the schedule, and I can't find it because my app is being stupid.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, no.
Yeah.
What about you?
I really don't know what's going on with the Ducks in the slightest. The way that the Ducks, I'm thinking what's happening is the fact that Corey Perry and Getzlaff were heavily dependent on either A, playing together. They
Hmm.
started off the season not playing together. And B, like having a little bit of luck on their side in either their play or the way that the play goes in terms of sustaining offense. And they're not getting that this season. Kessler's regressing. Combine these two things, and suddenly your second line is much worse, and your first line isn't where you want it to be.
They have no depth either beyond their
They
top
have
two
no depth.
lines.
Yeah, and as soon as you go to their third line and their fourth line, that's the reason why they didn't make it very far in the playoffs.
And actually, I got the schedule.
Yeah.
They play Nashville tonight, and then it's Florida, Columbus, San Jose, and Arizona. So maybe two of those next five are winnable. Arizona and Columbus. Other than that, San
Depends on
Jose.
which Anaheim you get.
But that's
You
the
get the
thing is
same
that
Anaheim, it's done.
it's well, yeah. So if they don't win at least two of those next five, I think they're done.
Yeah.
I think Boudreaux's done. I don't see him making it through November if he can't win more than 3 or 4 games.
Which is like really surprising considering that like Boudreaux's like way that he runs his offense is just unrelenting offensive pressure. There's no
They use their
goals that's coming
size.
out of it.
It's been such a freak year this year. Now Getzlaff is out for up to 2 weeks, I think,
Yeah.
with emergency appendectomy. But it's just, man,
I
Freddie
don't,
Anderson's. I mean, I think he's the only reason they're not losing worse, which is remarkable. When
yeah.
the way you look at that team right now, I don't know.
Anyway, let's go on again.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. Oilers, our current record is 4-8-1.
4-8,
No,
no.
4-8, no. So that's a 2-5-0 record.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of factors in trying to evaluate things. We're gonna do our like 10 game kind of assessment
I mean, that's if you think
or
about the
12
math,
game
that's
assessment, I
that's
guess.
4 more wins. If you keep this pace, that's 4 more wins by the end of the season than we had last year.
I don't think that's a good.
It's
Yeah, I
not a good
guess.
thing, but
Yeah.
I mean, the way you look. Yeah, sorry.
Regardless, so we'll assess each part in its own like component.
Okay.
Um, So, first one, how much do you think Eberle being out is hurting us?
Oh God. Um. So I know you and I talked before we started broadcasting about the power play and the penalty kill.
Mm-hmm.
And the power play, I think, having Purcell on the power play is just killer. But you know what?
Yeah.
Eberle moves the puck a lot better, and he tends to shoot a lot better. And I think getting Eberle in on that power play, even though it's picked up recently, will even help even more.
Yeah.
Because we got so much firepower on those two forward lines for the power play that you know.
That being said, the last game did demonstrate some kind of chemistry between Hall and Draisaitl.
Yes, and that's I think I don't if Draisaitl keeps playing the way he is, he's not going down very fast.
No,
I
he's
don't.
not.
So actually going along with those lines, what do you do when Eberle gets back in the lineup? If Draisaitl, Hall, and News continue to play the way they are, do you stick Eberle on the third line and hope that third line Lander can actually decide to get a point now, or what do you do?
I would try Draisaitl on the left wing,
Over who then?
over Pouliot.
So with McDavid and Yak,
Yeah.
even though he's got was it 3 goals in the last 3 games?
I don't know, dude. It's like
It's
I basically based upon how our season is going, I think it's gonna be a lot of just figure that out when we get there.
yeah. Well,
Just because like injuries have thrown the whole team for a loop.
so the other side of it is Slepyshev would be able to be sent back down. With
Yes.
Draisaitl staying up, you can even keep Slepyshev up and scratch Purcell. But Purcell's picked up his play, so I think
Christian's picked
what
up
I
like
do is
won't be scratched.
what I'd probably do is send down Slepyshev because he obviously needs time in the AHL. Um,
I think he is playing better though, I will say.
who Slepyshev?
Slepyshev?
He
The
has looked
less
a bit better the last couple of games, but I think
but
he
not to the
he
level that we needed.
no, not even close.
I mean, like, yes, he's playing like less than eight, like around 8 minutes or less
Yeah,
each game. But like
but
at the same
he's
time,
not looking
he
good for
has
those
to
eight
make those
minutes.
8 minutes count for something.
Yeah. And that's the issue. He's got 1 point in 12 games, and it's like, okay, no. So no, I think
Beyond just the points.
you
But
gotta
yeah,
send him down and then bring up not bringing anybody up, but maybe keep Draisaitl up on the way he's going. Yeah. So I think next one was what, coaching.
nah, Nilsson is a reliable backup.
I'm not sold. I'll be honest, and I know a lot of people are gonna hate me for that. And I mean
He had two good games and a really bad game.
yeah. And the issue with me is that I look at his past record and go, okay, well, he's been inconsistent. And then you look at him this season and he goes, he's been inconsistent. And now,
Yeah.
do we know for a backup, you can't wonder which one is going to show up. You have to have a reliable backup, whether they're a 9.25 backup or a 9.05 backup. You have to know which one you're getting, in my opinion. And so with Nilsson, he made 47 saves in one game, but the goals that went in were, like what Talbot
They
led
were
in.
just bad
Yeah.
goals.
So, am I sold on Nilsson? Not entirely. Do I think he's a reliable backup? I think, as long as Talbot can hold together in the starting role, then Nilsson, can be a
Yeah.
reliable backup. And I think that hinges on the two. You need a good duo.
Yeah, my problem with Nielsen is actually very similar to my problem with Talbot. Is that when they're making the saves, like the hard ones, it's just they come up huge, and they're making the big saves and they're making it count. And suddenly, like out of nowhere, an absolute garbage chance goes in,
Yeah. And it's just,
and it sinks team like hope, Saints fans' hopes. Like it's just not good. Biggest one being with 8.4 seconds left in the last game.
with that said, yesterday, dear God, there was one guy that called in to 6:30 Chad. You
Yeah.
fucking idiot.
Who? What do you say?
So,
What he said? You gotta inform me. I did not listen. I went to bed because I was
he said
tired.
he'd already given up on Talbot and to trade him, and Shirley has no idea what he's doing, and Katz needs to get fired.
Pardon?
He listed them off. He said Katz needed to be fired. He said
Oh.
Talbot is the wrong goaltender. He doesn't
Oh,
care if
okay.
we're
Yeah.
telegames in. He's the wrong goaltender, and Peter Shirley has
Yeah.
no idea what he's doing.
Oh, fantastic, man!
I'm
You
j-
should
I
hire
just
him.
I,
He should be hired. Like, why isn't he hired yet?
why is he
Like, the
why is
Oilers
Katz
should
even on the
listen
team?
to him.
God,
Okay.
just
Like, I'm sure in his NHL 16 game, he managed to successfully trade two first round
This
draft
guy
picks
sounded like
for
twice our
Shea
age.
Weber.
Like he's like I don't. He's like, oh, nobody's ever watched hockey before. It's like, okay, I realize I'm calling out somebody that I've never met in my life, who was probably
Fire
drunk,
the owner,
and
yes, of course.
and it was 1:30 in the morning. But that just okay. I I know you're not happy with Talbot's last game, but throwing him under the bus after 12 friggin' games, saying he's not a starter, and then saying Peter Chiarelli is shit because
He's come up huge in circumstances
he's
where
been he's made the saves that we couldn't even ask him to save most of the time. And yes, those ones that he let in, that one was a given, and he lost the game for us on both the turnover where he kicked out in front, and that one that
that
went in on the
being
goal line.
said,
No, it just give him 20 games at least. Come on, like fuck
no,
me.
okay. Here's the second part. So we're done with Nilsson. Nilsson is very straightforward to
Just move
handle
moving on,
because
Talbot.
he's the backup. If he's a little bit inconsistent, that's understood
Back up.
because he's the backup. Now we're getting to the starter. This is the guy that we want um, to be our starter, to be consistent. And Talbot, my issue with him is that basically we got an exaggerated level of Talbot that we were expecting based upon advanced stats. Where for high and medium scoring quality chances, he's great. Like he stops 95 plus.
Hmm.
And then for the low quality ones, I don't know what it is with Oilers goaltenders and like the low post area, but nearly every shot that goes from that area, I immediately start sweating because those are the ones that our goaltenders love giving up. Like I'm trying to think of each game. Like a Predators game, one went in that way. Dallas game, one went in that way. Calgary game, I'm pretty sure
Hmm.
two,
Yeah, at
two went
least.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, two went in that way.
Do you
And this is three games out of 12 games,
do
and
you, do
there's
you
just
see it?
way more games. I just can't remember off the top of my head
Do you
because I
see it
didn't
as part
watch
of
it.
an issue with the defense where they're giving up too many prime scoring chances so that those are becoming goals rather than the ones where like if we reduce those chances, then those fluke goals are less of a concern and less of a big issue. I mean,
See, that's
they're
only an
obviously
issue for me in one shot circumstance where he saved it, started reacting for the pass, and then the rebound, the player immediately shot it, and he wasn't ready. The other ones, he's just straight up not against the post.
that one was just. I mean, I
He
can't.
has to like
You
the
have to.
post is something that he has to cover. A player can't be like you
I
all other than blocking the shot. The players are like blocking the passing lanes. That's how Chia does his
now
defense.
to his credit,
I mean,
uh,
not Chia,
Shirley,
T Mac.
T Mac. Okay. To his credit, Cam took full responsibility, and
Yeah, he
McClellan
did.
didn't back down from saying Cam should take full responsibility, but he also didn't throw him under the bus in the post game
No.
interview, which I liked. But that was just that goal. I don't care if you're backup or a
That's
starter.
the difference between
That
last year's Oilers and this year's Oilers. Last year's Oilers, it was just you could see T Mac, I mean Mac T, shaking his head after Scrivens let in that goal in OT against Toronto,
that
where the
happens.
score ended
Oh
6-5.
yeah.
And in this one, it's just they're letting the fans go nuts, and the fans are going
Hmm.
nuts. But at the same time, like the coach is just handling things as quietly as possible. Chiarelli is handling things as
You
quietly as
said his name
possible.
right.
Yeah, I tried this time.
High five.
And like that's the way you need to do it, and I'm happy that they're doing it that way
I
because
think yeah.
I do think, though I think that the way Talbot is playing right now is not acceptable. I do think it will turn around, and he has a capacity to be a number one
I
goaltender.
know we've said the word regression about 6 times already, and
Yeah.
but for Talbot to come as advertised, he needs to regress back to his average. Which, I mean, my prediction for this season, if we go back to that italics thread on your other sub was,
Yeah.
a 915 and like a 25, 26, 27 save percentage around there, and I honestly think he'll get back to that level, maybe even slightly above. But that's what we need to even make progress this season is average goaltending.
Mhm.
Now, how much progress?
For people saying that our D is the problem and that Ference is the problem,
It's a big part of it.
I mean, it is a part, but at the same time, like you need your goaltender to make that save.
Okay, but let me put it this way: if you're spending time in your own end, what's causing you to spend time in your own end? Could it
Yeah,
possibly be the issues with breakouts? And where does
yeah.
that start?
Equally, like speaking, there are games where like we outshoot our opponents and we're losing on the scoreboard.
Yeah, but that's part of. I mean, that's gonna happen. Sometimes you run into a tough goalie, but the fact of the matter
Yeah.
is, against specifically against the was it the Capitals where we spent a minute and a half to 2 minutes multiple times in our own end because we could not break out of the zone. Um,
Same thing happened against the next team that we played. Forget the name.
um, I don't.
I don't forget. Whatever.
Anyway, moving. So, but with that said, then, so this kind of ties in. This is gonna be a nice transition. Puck moving
Yeah.
defenseman, Mark Fayne being scratched. How do you look at that way?
Um,
I mean,
I
Mark Fayne
do
isn't a
think there's
puck
some
moving
kind of trade
defenseman.
in the works. I think it's going to be a multi-person trade just because of the cap relief setup that was set up. Um, so with the cap, so for people that don't know, Pitlick and LeLeggia were recalled to the team from what's the place again?
Bakersfield.
Bakersfield. And then Eberle was then placed on long-term injured reserve. Then both of them were sent down. Draisaitl was called up. And the reason that that was all done the way it was is to free up the maximum amount of cap space from Eberle being placed on long-term injured reserve. And that's what it is. I actually got downvoted in our hockey suggesting that there might be a trade incoming,
No, who cares?
and
They
like
just
people saying like, oh, that only works when you're going into playoffs, when like it doesn't
no.
like
But
playoff
remember,
salary still
McDavid
count
is
against the
is
cap.
overrated, and he's supposed to be back in Erie.
Well, like it's just that people
Just
like you got to think creatively here, like, and that's the way that I think Chi is going to think about it,
I
because he's realized that there's standard solutions won't work with his team. You got to get creative.
part of it is, I mean, we're missing Schultz, and
Yeah,
as much as we love to rag on Schultz, he's been our best defenseman this year.
and that's the reason that I got so annoyed by people like berating Schultz in this off season, because like yes, he has been bad
He
defensively.
was god
At the
awful
same
last year.
time,
I'm sorry, I was one of those people. He was brutal last year.
he
The fact that he's making
was
more money
our
this year based on
biggest
his last year's performance
person
is a joke.
contributing to our
But with
offense.
that, yeah, but okay, you can contribute to our offense, but if you're also you're such a detriment to our defense that you're getting scored on one instead of like 2 to 3 times a game, you're not doing a hell of a whole lot for the team, whole hell of a lot for the team. Like, but
Okay.
the thing is with Schultz is that he stepped up to the plate this year and he became that defenseman that we need.
Mhm.
Then he had that crap game, got injured, and now he's been out since. Um, so
I think the reason he had that crap game was because he was injured.
I I mean, well he left.
That's the reason why we didn't really see anything.
He played a crap game and then he got injured in L.A. Like he played his shit game was before L.A.
Did he leave the LA game?
Yeah,
I don't even know
he was
what
injured. He
when
was
was
injured
injured.
early in the second period. I think, or early in the second in L.A.
I honestly think something happened in the Caps game, and that
He wasn't in the
it
Caps
caused him to
game.
pour badly in the Caps game.
It wasn't in the Caps game.
Okay.
Anyway, moving
Anyway,
on. So
okay, 10 games to evaluate, 12 games to evaluate in. First thing, coaching.
um, I think actually it's gone fairly well so far.
Yeah.
You know, another moron on 630 Ched said that McClellan was outcoached yesterday, which I think is hilarious because Hartley didn't do anything to outcoach McClellan, and McClellan
Wasn't
didn't do anything to get
outcoached.
outcoached. Like it's just that thing where it's like, okay, I don't know what you're talking about again, but
Then again, playing devil's advocate, McClellan is not one to appreciate what the other coach is doing.
true. But was
Like he
there
doesn't
any
care about matchups at all.
other than Hartley being a jackass and calling for that challenge, which we're gonna talk about a little bit. Then other than that, like he didn't really do anything
Just send
different.
flowers to Ramos' family.
God, yeah, poor guy
Anyway,
must be dead. I mean, God, do you see the hit he took?
I know,
Just
man.
brutal.
I don't think he can ever play hockey again.
Poor guy. Anyway,
Sucks at playing hockey already.
aside from this extreme sarcasm,
Oh, there's one good point that Robert Paulson is saying. Schultz also makes Clefbaum look better.
that is true. And Clefbaum looked like he was in orbit for the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 games, and he's been better. Greiba, okay, I'm gonna
Clefbaum wasn't that bad
he
in
was
all
pretty bad to start the season,
6.
in my opinion.
He
Is
was. Here's the thing, though. He
his
was
fantasy
bad
stats weren't great either.
compared to how the rest of the team was doing. He wasn't as bad.
No, he
Or the
was he
defense
was
was
he was right there with the rest of the team. He was playing better than Ference, which isn't really saying a whole hell of a lot, and he was playing
playing
better
better than Fayne.
than Fayne. Well, Fayne's in the doghouse
Playing
for a
better than
reason.
Sekera.
Sekera, yes.
Sekera is an enigma to me. I
Sekera has
don't
been
understand what's
god
going on.
off. I don't understand. I think part of it is he's adjusting to the game, but at the same time, it's like, come on, man. Like you gotta
Oh,
be
it's
better.
Doc Diggler. Robert Paulson is Doc Diggler.
That makes well. He just kind of outed him, which is well done. But
His name is Robert Paulson. Fight Club?
you're an asshole.
Fight Club. How did I out him? He
I
put the
I don't know
content.
why I've never seen Fight Club. Give me a break. I've never read
You.
the book.
Okay, this is the moment in which all of us
I'm sorry. You've never seen
Sean
Breaking Bad. You can go ahead and
Adam
shove your head in
the
the
foolish
toilet.
lying Scrooge.
You've never. His phone autocorrects to that now. You
And
see,
his
I gotta
name
deal with him. This is so much fun. I love this.
is Robert Paulson.
TSN, please hire me. Just so get out of here, please. Even I will look for Sportsnet. Come on, like, God,
And then jinx the Oilers with your podcast.
yes, because we don't do that as it is.
Okay,
Uh,
my thoughts on the coaching is that I'm happy. T-Mac, I was a little concerned that T-Mac's system was really static. I mentioned after the end of our 4-game losing streak that I was really unhappy with the way that they were doing the offense, where it was dump and chase, set up the defense from the point. By the 5th game, T-Mac just realized, okay, this is not working. We got to depend on the forwards for offense, and the defensemen, like, they'll contribute to shots, but we're not going to depend. We can't depend on the defenseman for shots. So then the entire system changed. It's just carry the puck in became the system. And with that, like, I just immediately started loving T Mac. Like, I'm happy with T Mac
he's
just because he takes a little bit to adjust, which is what you want.
mhm.
You don't want a coach that's instantly going to tell the players, like, the very next game, okay, this isn't working. This is what you're going to do next game. Because then the players also need to understand how another system works in order to play against it.
And to his credit, he saw that the Conyak line was working out well, and he kept them together rather
Kept them
than
together.
splitting them apart with
Yeah, he didn't split
Draisaitl.
up lines like that. And he,
Yeah.
like, even in the losing causes, like, he kept them together.
Yeah.
Because that's something that some coaches will do, where they realize, they go like, oh, this line isn't working, and they break it up immediately.
Then again, when you have a 7 and 8 game point streak, then you don't really. I mean, there's not a whole lot of incentive to break them up. At the same time, he knew that Hall and Nuge were playing well together. So rather than putting Pouliot on the top line, moving Hall down, like he kept the lines the same. But with that said, in game he was still shuffling the lines. That's at one point I saw Hall, Eberle, or Hall, Yakupov, and McDavid together. Realized it wasn't working, went back to original lines. And that's the thing is that, to his credit, McClellan's been very good at adapting thus far.
Yeah.
And it's
And at the same time, it's not like oh, I've got to adapt right away, and
No.
like I've got to immediately change everything. No, it's like intelligent adaptation. One of my concerns with what he's doing is that I think it's partly our defense being really bad, but the
Injuries
defense
again.
seems dedicated on blocking passes more than playing the man. And that's what leads to like that kind of situation where you get the man that's continuously open from the low post.
Yeah, and I think, part of it with the defenseman, I think, is injuries. And I want to rant a little bit about Graba before when we get to the
And
defense.
Graba's another enigma to me.
Graba is so goddamn inconsistent that it's actually painful.
Yeah.
Like even from
Which is
shift
actually,
to shift.
for those of you that don't know, in terms of Corsi, one of our better players is Graba.
That's what makes me want to blow my brains out, because
Yes.
then we see him make a play like again in the LA where he made a play off the boards and then made a perfect pass to Kopitar, who scored the game-winning goal. And then there was against Was it Washington where he just rifled the puck around the boards because there was no wingers there, and he decided, fuck it, and shot it around, and they came in and scored again. And then he'll go up and make 3 hits, take a pass away, and make a breakout pass, and then look like friggin' PK Subban.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. It's there's no consistency, and for me, it's like, okay, I understand. Like, for me, I put him over Ference, obviously, but now, what I want to ask you is with Davidson, he's played much better in the last couple games. I thought his first game, everybody was saying it was the best game of the year. I thought he played like crap, which is, I mean, there's good reason I don't work for TSN or Sportsnet yet. We'll see. But at any rate, he wasn't. I didn't think he was that good. But at any rate, he's gotten better. Do you place him?
He looked really bad in that Washington game.
Yeah.
As
Well, apparently to us, everybody else thought he was good. So. Whatever. Anyway,
I mean, compared to how the rest of the defense was going. Anyway, continue.
When Reinhart comes back, do you scratch Davidson?
I scratch Ference.
Ference and keep Reinhart, Davidson, Sekera, Clefbaum, and then when Schultz comes back.
Yeah, there's an extra defense in there.
Yeah. So Fayne is still there, right? So do you see Fayne getting traded before Schultz is back?
Honestly, I just scratch Fayne as well. Yeah. Because Fayne, it's really disappointing, especially with what happened last season. Because like our veteran, reliable defensive unit was supposed to be Fayne and Sekera, and the only reason that I'm not scratching Sekera too is because we're paying him $5 million.
I was gonna say, at some point, do you scratch Sekera to send a message?
No.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, we paid Nikitin $4.5 million to play in the AHL right now.
Yeah, I guess.
No, you don't.
No.
No. No. No.
No.
No.
No.
All right, what's next?
No, Fayne is okay. Fayne, Dr. Igler said that Fayne is only as good as his defensive partner.
Yeah, and that's
Who was
true
his
with
defensive
Andy Green.
partner last season?
Well, Fayne last year played with Petrie for a lot.
And
No,
Petrie was
Petrie
not having a
played
good season last season.
Petrie had an amazing season last year. Petrie was our only defenseman that was usable last year.
Last season with the Oilers, he was stats wise, he was really bad.
No, he was.
Yes, he was.
Well, the entire defense was bad. He was at the top of the defense, though.
That doesn't say much.
It does on a team that's so bad that we get scored on more than any other team in the league, and he's still the best defenseman on the team and still putting up slightly below average numbers. Like, he wasn't that far off the average, and that's the thing. Is that even on... Am I too loud?
No.
Even on an... You are tired. Even on an average team, he would have been mid-range. And that's what we're seeing in Montreal. He's on the power play now. He's playing penalty kill for them, and he's also playing second pairing even strength. He's playing
and
with
he
Eberle.
was really bad in that game against us.
Yeah, that one game where the entire team shit the bed. So
no, the thing was he was on the ice for the power play goal.
Yeah.
And for 2 even strength goals.
You're gonna give him well, yeah. I'll give you credit. Like, he was terrible in that game, but he's also making Eberle play better now.
Eberle was a decent defenseman.
Eberle's not bad, but he does have a tendency to jump plays. He's kind of like Darnell Nurse.
Like he is like PK Subban light.
Actually, you know what? Going back to the defense thing, when Reinhart comes back, do you keep Nurse then too, or do you send Nurse back down?
God. Oh, I would actually send Nurse back.
Yeah, but he's
as much as people hate me saying that. My problem with Nurse is the fact that yes, he is playing well, but I feel as though there's so much that he needs to learn that I just think like sending him down for a little bit longer, letting him play more minutes in the AHL against slightly weaker competition, and letting him learn how to control the puck will take him a long way.
I feel like that's what he already does, but I mean to like a greater extent.
Yeah, to a greater extent. Just because like in the last games that he's played with Clefbaum, right?
Yes, I think so.
Fairly certain, yeah. He has. They've always been stuck in their defense, in their zone.
Yeah, again,
he doesn't know how to make the pass. He honestly, like, beyond the slap shot goal, like, he doesn't know.
Well, I mean, the other side of it is he's also more mobile.
How the offense works.
He's also more mobile than any of the other offense, and if you think about it, how do you break out of your zone? You need mobile puck movers, and we don't have any
Yeah.
mobile puck movers aside right now healthy, aside from Nurse.
We could have tried LeLeggia. I would
Clefbaum, I
have
guess
liked it if
too.
we did.
LeLeggia, yeah, but again, he probably needs
He's
more
Justin
time.
Schultz light.
Yeah, but I think he needs more time in the AHL than Nurse does.
Mm.
I mean, coming out of college, he looked good in camp, but again, so does Slepyshev.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, another player I want to touch on, Lander. Again, non-existent. I
Okay, hold
don't
on, hold on. This is my reaction to Lander's play right now.
just face palm. Just oh god, he's been. I mean, outside the face-off dot, he's been useless. He has doesn't have a point yet. He's making the third
I
line
mean,
look
he's
bad.
winning faceoffs,
You,
I guess.
what is it? Was it against
53.
No, I'm trying to think. Who was it? It was the game before Calgary.
Montreal?
Yes, where
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure where he just sat there and watched the pass across the crease. It was a great pass, but he watched the pass go. He followed
Yeah,
his man
Lander
in,
had to have that.
and then his man stopped. He continued, caught watching the puck, and just watched the pass go right in or tic tac toe right in. All right, and as
He's
a
had
third,
1 point over 12 games.
I don't even think he has one.
Does he?
I
No.
don't think so. As
I'll take a peek.
as a third line centerman who is expected to step his game up after playing well last year, you can't coast by your man in the zone and let him just have an easy tap and goal. Like
Mhm.
that is the simplest play you can make.
My biggest disappointment this season,
Is Lander,
because we
to
expected our
me.
defense to be bad. Yeah, no points. -5.
Yeah. No,
15 shots
I
over
just
12 games.
even if you're playing third and fourth line minutes, like uh, you have to.
Corsi wise, he's been really bad too. So it's not just like -5 out of nowhere.
To his
He's
credit,
always when his line or he's on the ice, you always see him hemmed in his own
I
zone.
think he was actually on the ice for I think 3 of the goals last night. I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
He was
Oh,
also
sorry, Doc Diggler. Though Davidson is a good Schultz replacement, he's still not as strong. Like he's still not as decisive
yeah.
in his own zone as I want him to be.
He's definitely not as mobile either. Like he's mobile. He has a
No.
much better shot than Schultz. I mean, I have a better shot than Schultz, but um,
Schultz's shots are always about tips, and
his
our
clapper's gotten
forwards
a
are
little
bad for
better. I
setting
will admit.
positions
His
for tips.
Schultz worked on his slap shot over the summer, but anyway,
If we
David.
want like, but then again, based on the history of this team, going after players just for their shot usually doesn't turn
Particularly well, no,
up
but
to good.
Davidson does have a hell of a shot. He's scored his 2 goals off really good slap
And he's only
shots.
24, so that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
But yeah, so no, Schultz definitely brings more mobility, more passing ability, better skating. But Davidson is bigger, stronger,
And slightly
better
better
shot.
decision making.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my issue with Davidson. Is
For
that
the
yeah,
most
his
part,
shot's great. He can make the pass sometimes.
this
He's
season
great for offensive contribution. It's just his decision making is not at the level that I want it to
we
be
should
at.
we should specify that I think this season because Schultz's decision making last season was questionable a lot of times too.
Oh, it was questionable.
Yeah,
This season, like I think what's happened is that he's talked to the right people and he's realized that like just commit to the decision that you make. If it turns out bad, it turns out bad. Figure it out for next time.
you gotta wonder how much the change in management has helped him because if they have a good defensive coach now, maybe that's turning or a lot of his game around again.
I think when he signed that contract this past season, they sort of like some things were said and they were the right things that were said to him.
I mean, it's
That's
encouraging, but I think actually, speaking of things that have changed, there was a story that came out from Oilers Nation, not a story, but a little piece in the post game of the Montreal game, I think it was, where it was said that Hall took Draisaitl aside after he was playing badly in the first and said, relax, you're a good player, you can play. And Draisaitl came back and scored the 2 goals. And do you think, there was we talked in the past about the coach, about the captaincy. Do you think something like that is a mark of a captain? Maybe Hall's turned a page on a lot of the stories that we hear about him being questionable
I think
character?
the stories on him being a douche are just overstated. It's just a bunch of people that are coming in and
So
saying like,
do you-
"Oh, he's a douche."
Do you
But,
see
like,
him as potential future captain?
it's difficult for me to say because I also think McDavid also has a capacity to be a captain.
I think that's true too because he led the play, like he leads the play.
He leads play. Hall
So
leads off the ice as well.
yeah,
but he doesn't always necessarily lead play. McDavid, when he has this puck on his stick, everyone is ready. They're anticipating. They're ready to go.
I feel like Hall is very much a player in
Like
tune of the emotions of the game, not so much as
based
like
upon
Yakupov or Draisaitl, but still very
based upon
much.
history of like how captaincies have gone in the modern age, you don't need your captain to be like absolutely vocal all the time.
No. And that's the thing. But I think do you in your opinion, do you need a captain that leads by example? So versus like what we
In
had,
my opinion, I think the coach knows what's best.
that's a cop out.
It is a cop out,
It
but
is a
every
cop out.
situation is very
Um,
specific.
for me, I feel like you need a player that
Because
isn't.
ultimately, like when it comes to captaincies, Adam, we don't know how the
That's true,
team
but I
works.
mean,
We
if
don't know how the
have
team
you like
functions.
when
We don't know each
when you play
individual's
minor league
personality.
hockey, normally it's the better players that get chosen captain, but
But
they
then
aren't
again, that's
necessarily the right
minor league
choice.
hockey. Yeah.
But it's minor league hockey. But with that said, like even in rep leagues, the better players tend to be more vocal because they believe they it's a confidence thing at a lot of times,
Mhm.
and that's getting into sports psych, which I'm a little rusty on, so I'm not going to
Okay.
talk about that. But I know like
So
for me, I
yeah.
think Hall can be the next captain, and then McDavid takes over after.
Okay. So let's talk then. I'm gonna skip a few things, and we'll come back to it later if we
That's
have
fine.
time.
We're at about
I
50
mentioned who was my
minutes.
most disappointing player. Who's your most disappointing player?
It's a toss up between Lander and Sakura, but I feel like it's Sakura simply because we're paying him so much money. He was supposed to come in as a number one or number two defenseman, and
Number two.
even if he wasn't, yeah, even if he wasn't
Just to be
advertised as
like
number one, like
honestly, like I said this before, but it's just like be that veteran presence where in games where the rest of our defense is like flopping around, we
don't be
can
a
rely on him and Fayne to like pick it
liability.
up.
Like that's all we're asking at this point. We're not asking you to be Chris friggin' Pronger. We're
No,
asking you to
just be
not be a
reliable.
liability. Be Jeff Petrie from last year. Don't be a liability. Like and Petrie had
Robert
his
Doc
moments.
Diggler is telling us that Linus Omark is our biggest disappointment this season.
Linus, I mean, he's a big disappointment.
And James Thistle is also watching. Yeah, James, you're right. He was supposed to be number one, but at the same time, like
He doesn't necessarily.
Schultz has really come into his own, and like honestly, like all we really needed is a serviceable top four to to complement our offense. And
Yeah,
because yeah, you did call it. Yeah, James did call it.
you jackass.
Uh,
He calling us out.
he
He's
went
not even on the
hashtag call
podcast
it.
and he's calling us
Yeah.
out. Oh man,
Yeah. Was it?
Lander's
It's just disappointing.
Lander's been bad, but Lander hasn't been. I'm gonna be a number one. No, like a very important key
He's a
player
third
for
line
the
center.
next 5 to 6 years on your
That being
roster.
said, whenever he's on the ice, he's getting the third most ice time for a centerman. He's not contributing to anything.
Right, but
He's being a detriment every single time he's on the ice.
Sekera isn't doing much better. Sekera was expected. The way for me is that Lander's been bad, but Sekera was expected to lead the defenseman, and he's not even close. For me,
I
that's
am a
like
little disappointed with Letestu, but other than that, like we really
Letestu.
need Hendricks
Yeah,
back.
I think okay. The big part of the big caveat with Lander and Letestu for me too, is that we've had no consistency in our bottom six because of injuries.
No. Yeah.
We've had like with Potkarinen, Slepyshev, Letestu, Gazik, Lander, Hendricks, I almost say Gordon, and then yeah. So they've been rotating in and out for so much that it's hard to build up any sort of chemistry. Um, Hendricks obviously had that really brutally
So then,
bad
Adam,
block. Yes.
let's say that the injuries stop becoming an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this team playing better?
I think so. Yeah. I
And
mean,
actually, no, here's the thing. I see us playing very well against teams of our level or below.
which how many? How
But I just
but
don't see us
how
playing well against the big
how
guys.
many teams are at our level or below?
Not many.
So you see us bottom third of the league, obviously.
Yes.
25 and under.
Yes.
What position?
I actually see us as 25.
Yeah.
or 24.
So what teams do you consider our level right now then?
Um, Obviously, apparently it's not Calgary right now.
So, well, I mean, we're 1-1 against them. We destroyed them first time around, and
Yeah,
we got
true.
shafted on 2 goals. So, you know,
Columbus,
Arizona, Buffalo,
Arizona,
Toronto.
Toronto.
Feasibly, I think there's at least 6 teams that are below us this year. At least 6 teams. And you know what? If
Then again, Adam, most of those six teams are do they play in the West or the East?
yeah, but we also play those teams. That's the thing. Is that we play
No,
we play
the
every
thing
team at least
is, they
twice.
can still get wins off of each other in the East.
Okay, well, what about the rest
We
of
can't do
Pacific?
that.
Do you think like the I think the
Like
Kings
Buffalo can win against Toronto.
in the Pacific, teams that are definitely better than us, San
Yeah,
Jose. Teams that are and Vancouver. Teams that
yeah.
are at our level or below, the Kings are close to our level so far this year. The Canucks are close to our level. The Flames are probably worse than us.
The Kings
And
are not close to our level. The Kings are much better.
the way they've been playing this year, there's not sure looking like that
They're winning most of their games lately
in against East teams.
against East teams. Oh, is that what
Um,
you Okay, okay. I'm sorry, you misheard you.
and then the Ducks, who I mean, they're not our level, but the way they've been playing, they're worse than us.
Mark my words.
The Ducks are gonna get better.
When the Ducks play us, that's when they'll break out.
Oh, it's scary for the slump busters. Why not?
Guarantee.
Was it? We had 2 hat tricks against us so far this year.
Yes.
Sutter scored 2 of his 3 goals for the year because he only scored 3 last year. Like it's inevitable at this point. The Ducks are gonna get like 14 goals against us.
Oh, it's a given.
Yeah, we're gonna put McDavid in
Chester's gonna
net.
have a hat trick. Perry's gonna have a hat trick.
Getzlaf's
Freaking
gonna be Getzlaf's
the
gonna be
water
wearing
guy's gonna have a hat trick.
Getzlaf's gonna be wearing a hospital
Anderson's
gown.
gonna have a hat trick.
Cogliano.
It's all in the
Cogliano's gonna get a
cards.
double hat trick
It's
because
gonna
it's
happen.
Cogliano. Just
Cogliano is just gonna like have a 10
he's
points in
he's
the
gonna
game.
he's gonna go up in the
He's gonna
booth,
like
sign a contract, and rip it up
pick
in
up a
front of.
Gagne jersey and then throw it up into the stands and burn it
He would. And
and
he's a
go
nice
like,
guy.
"Where's your god now?"
Cogliano's a nice guy. He'll just score 12 goals against us, make us cry, and then skate off in the
Yeah, yeah,
distance.
yeah. And then all the former Oilers, like Hemson's gonna come in, Horkoff's gonna come in, and like
It's like that
they're gonna
commercial
be like,
last
"What?
year.
Don't you have a game right now with the Stars?" And it's gonna be like, "No, we're injured." Um, and like Nilsson's gonna come in, Omar's gonna come
I
in,
think
like
we got a little
everyone's
off
gonna come
track
in,
here.
and they're gonna like dance in a
Maybe we
circle
should just
and
bring
do
it
like
back
that
to
Oilers are
reality
bad
here.
dance.
Yeah, a little far off track there, Rune. I
We had a
mean,
little bit of fun. Anyway, actually, I want to sort of talk about the I guess power play penalty kill. Your
real quick,
thoughts?
we're at 57, so 5 minutes.
Let's we can go for a little bit longer. I
Yeah,
mean, we're getting some good discussion in. We have more viewers than we did before.
that's
So we have
depressing.
five
Hi guys.
viewers.
I mean, one of them is
Everyone.
James, but you don't really count for anything. It's okay.
James doesn't matter.
He ditched us. You don't count.
James doesn't matter. Quoted by that's an Adam quote.
You said
Hashtag.
James doesn't matter. I did say James doesn't matter.
Definitely Adam said it. James can attest to that. He's definitely watching. And Robert Paulson says, "Yep."
Yeah,
I'm definitely not taking that out of context.
not at all. Um. Anyway, so PK power play. You start this time.
Oh God.
Which you want
Power
to start
play
with?
better. Power play is like I don't know. I mean, it's a good thing we're not like leading in shorthanded goals against anymore.
Oh, it's. See, that's kind of relief. At least like we're not giving up like a short-handed goal a game. Yeah, it's better, which is
You gotta look
when
at the
that's an
silver lining.
improvement. When that's an improvement, that is not. Oh
It's
my
not a great
god,
improvement, no.
it's
No, but
something.
in terms of power play, like it's a little bit worse than Nielsen. Who was Nelson? Nelson, yeah, Nelson last season. I think it also has to do with the fact that we're missing Eberle. Um, it's gonna be interesting because when we get our healthy players back, I'm a little curious in terms of how T Mac will put it all together. That being said, lately they have been scoring on the power play, so that's good.
Our power play is currently where that's Philly, so it's our power play is currently actually running at 22.5%, which is 11th in the league.
Yeah, it is. We've improved in our last few.
Do you want to know where our PK is right now?
It's horrible.
It's our power penalty kill is actually 18th right now, 78.9%.
Yeah, it's 18th because like it was 6 games before a team scored a power play goal against us.
Yeah, it's been really
And then
bad
for some
lately.
reason, like at that point, the floodgates just opened.
I
Like
like
every
I
game
I
now.
mentioned this. I mentioned this before we even started recording, and you know I'm gonna say this, but I think injuries have a big impact on that. When
Yes.
Mark Hendricks goes down with injury, and you have to stick McDavid on the penalty kill,
I think T Mac's plan from the very beginning was to put McDavid there because
possibly.
McDavid does have good stick
Yeah,
work.
and with Matt Hendricks, it makes it better. But when you're sticking Lander on the PK, like, ugh. I mean, he played it last year, and he's good at faceoffs, but I don't know.
I think it's just a confidence problem for Lander, but unfortunately, he's not giving himself any room to gain confidence.
Well, on the other side of it, he's not really proven anybody wrong. He's not really like Teddy Purcell was god awful this year, but man, he had a pretty good game yesterday. He's gotten better. The last couple of games, he's looked better. He scored a couple goals. He's
Hmm.
starting to prove us wrong, and he's playing on a line with Lander, and Lander doesn't even have a point. Like, come on there.
You got to feel for Lander. He got like accredited for a goal, and then it got taken away from him because it didn't go off of him. It went off their own player.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
man.
boy. Um. Yeah. So our power play and penalty kill. I don't know. Like if we started off penalty kill, I think the reason is it's gonna go back up because of injuries.
I think part of it is also the fact that Talbot, your number one penalty killer, has always got to be your goaltender.
Mhm.
And I think there's some kind of confidence issue that's going on with Talbot when we go on the penalty kill.
Confidence is big, but I
There's
don't know.
someone called Oilers Archivist going, Oilers suck.
Okay.
And I would agree with you.
Thank you for that lovely contribution. We already know.
Professor Scribbles, okay, we had a lot of comments. I'm just going to go through
Wait, can
this.
I say one thing about the penalty
Yeah,
kill real
go.
quick? Schultz was also a big penalty killer. Fun fact. So when he comes back,
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was. Okay. Professor Scribbles, hey, I'm back now. James Thistle, power play looks a lot better, obviously. Davidson might help us once in a. Sorry, Doc Diggler, Davidson might help us once he gets some experience. James Thistle gives us a heart. Professor Scribble says we got an incredible PK early, then we regressed towards the mean once other teams started getting warmed up.
that's probably true
Uh,
too.
Yes, I agree with that. Doc Diggler says Clink and Handy are gone, and
Yeah,
affected that big time.
Korpikoski
Oilers
even played.
Archivist say Oilers suck, and we agree with you. Mac D is actually pretty decent penalty killer. Doc Diggler says that. I agree with you.
Mac T.
Oh shit. Yeah, Talbot is brain farting like crazy, and Schultz is decent.
Yeah. When you
Mac D,
lose
Mac D,
McD.
David.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, he's. I'm not. I don't have an issue with him playing power play. What I'm saying is when we're resorting when Klinkhammer, Korpikoski, Hendricks, and Schultz are all out, you're resorting to, guys like Davidson, Ference on a penalty kill,
Mhm.
and then on the front end you're using McDavid and I mean we haven't when he gets desperate. When we see Yakupov on the penalty kills, when he gets desperate, but I don't think we'll
Oh
be seeing that
yeah.
anytime soon.
That's when you go no, like the coach is throwing you at the kitchen
I
sink.
love Yakupov, but he'll never be a penalty killer.
No, he won't.
No. Um.
Anyway, I guess we can go on to the no goals then. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I actually pulled up replays for this. So if you want to
Okay.
take a quick look, we'll start with the Kings game. That's gonna look really good on the replay there. That whole thing. So looking at the Kings goal, I'm sure you've seen the highlight where it's the side view with, I guess you can see it on the stream, right? So it's McDavid with quick reaching behind the net. Do you think that the NHL needs to modify its rules regarding goal review and those kind of goals if it's clearly 100% obvious, like in that situation, that the puck's over the line, or is it has to be a straight rule and we just got screwed by that, unfortunately?
See, this situation is really weird. Also, Robert Paulson says sexy wallpaper. Um, and Oilers Archivist says, seriously though, as a coach, that Talbot has been overall been pretty great so far. Anyway, for in terms of that goal technology, it's really difficult to do it. Just because during a game, like you're gonna get pieces of the puck coming off. In terms of like embedding the puck with some kind of technology that can allow tracking of that puck, the concern that comes in is that
Be
how
careful.
does this go about impacting like identification of the puck, right?
What?
Not identification. What am I thinking? Oh, brain, come on. Uh,
You scare me sometimes. Do you want to think about that? I'll talk for a minute.
oh, like in terms of how the puck behaves when you shoot it, because it's gonna behave differently if there's something inside the puck, right?
Um, Not really necessarily.
There's
Yeah, yes,
also
but like if it's a micro, if it's a microchip, it's not gonna be not make that much of a difference
I
at
guess
all.
yeah, that's true. Then the other concern as well is that like the difference between soccer and ice hockey is that soccer the ball is not as shot as fast as it is in ice hockey. Like the puck is taking a bunch of like caroms all over the place. It's hitting everything
That wouldn't
like
have an impact on the
constantly.
tracking ability.
Pardon?
That wouldn't have an impact on the tracking ability.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
Um,
How about identification of whether or not the puck crossed the entire line? Would that
Now
affect?
the I don't know the specifics of eagle eye technology, but it's being used in tennis, where on serves of 100 and plus miles an hour, 120 miles an hour, and it can tell
Okay.
instantaneously whether it was in or out, where they make
Okay.
the line. Now I don't know if that's trajectory based or not, but implementing that in the NHL, I think at this point has become crucial, where you can't have a goal like with Quick had yesterday against us, where his entire glove is in the net, and because of an overhead camera where you can't physically see the puck in his glove or in the
I mean,
net,
there was another camera
like.
angle where you could see the puck over the
But the problem
line.
was that wasn't an official review. That was a independent photographer taking a picture.
No,
Where
no, 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 no. There was an official camera that could
oh
see
the
the
wide
puck over
view,
the line. But the
yes,
problem with that is that you can't tell based upon that angle if it's parallax or
yeah,
not. So with parallax, what will actually happen, for those of you that don't know, is that because you're looking at it from an angle, you can't necessarily tell whether if the puck is in the air, it might be the case where the puck is actually behind the line, but will appear as though it's crossed the line. In that case, it's very clear that it crossed the line. And
yeah. No,
but in terms of the review technology available, because there's enough of a doubt, like you can't 100% conclude that it crossed the line, the call on the ice stands, and the
now
call on the ice was no goal.
unfortunately, going from a referee's perspective, where it's been a while, but I was a ref at one point,
Yeah.
he made the right call because the issue is if it's in the glove, it's kind of this logic where it's not like a logic problem where glove is in puck is in glove, glove is in net, therefore goal. It's
Mm-hmm.
that you cannot see the puck. The puck is in the glove, therefore you cannot confirm nor deny that the puck is in the net, and they called it
Yeah.
no goal. So it's like with catch in the NFL. If they call it a catch, and there's not enough evidence to overturn it, then a call stands.
Yeah.
And that's the issue in the NHL right now is
And that
that
was the same issue with the. Actually, no, the Calgary one was
the
different.
Calgary one was bullshit. We're gonna talk about that in a minute.
That was straight
But
up bullshit. Okay, I
um,
guess we can go on to the Calgary one because
well,
this one is
and
like all we can attribute it to is just bad luck.
one
That's
last
honestly
one
it.
last point though for the puck is that they did use puck tracking at the All Star game this past year, and I don't
I think there's
know.
going to be more research done into it. I think one of the key flaws right now is the fact that there isn't enough research done into to ice hockey in particular.
I
The
think
thing about tennis and soccer is that because they're much bigger sports, there's much more research done.
well, yeah, it's possible, but I think part of it might be like I'm sure there are complications that we don't know because we're not engineers. Well, you're supposed to be, but uh, and don't
Supposed to
look at
be.
me. I do a soft science where I'm doing neuroscience. Don't look at
It's
me.
touching touchy feely shit.
Touchy feely shit. Yeah. Okay. Um. So this is obviously a replay of the goal from yesterday from Calgary, and looking at it, I guess the issue is the referee did call it a goal, and you see if you go back, whoops, shit. You can see Letestu kind of bump Ramo in the head. If you see like, yeah,
I'm
tap.
not
I
seeing the
mean,
porn tabs, by the way. I'm really disappointed.
yeah, I wouldn't show you guys that. Dang it, I keep bringing up the wrong freaking windows. Okay, very professional. But you can see him tap him, but it doesn't significantly change anything. And is it getting the
The second angle, actually, Adam,
mm,
look at it from the perspective of the goaltender. You're moving across, and a player slightly impedes your way. Isn't that player technically getting in the way of letting that goaltender
I
make the
mean,
save?
if you look at it, it's almost like Ramo's outside of his crease. Like he's at the very edge of his crease. Letestu's outside of the crease, and Ramo almost pushes off of him.
Doc
which
Diggler saying you photoshopped the blood out of the replay. He clearly died right
oh
there.
yeah, no, he's I mean there's his head's over here, he's decapitated, there's some blood back here.
In my opinion, it's a weak call, but at the same time, in looking at it in terms of what the call, like the rules are, if he's getting in the way
But he
of
that's
making the save,
I swear to God I hate my okay.
James says that you have a very relaxing voice and you should record audiobooks.
I'll do what's it called?
I'm listening to an audiobook right
ASMR.
now, actually. And it's like,
No, okay.
I'm gonna touch together some
The
things.
issue is for me is that
Yeah, and Professor Scribble says, sorry, terrible, dirty headshot. Suspend Letestu like they did to Torres. Get this
two hundred
shit
thousand
out of
dollar fine.
hockey.
Give him it.
And he definitely did not put a sarcasm tag, so I'm gonna take him seriously.
The issue with me is that you can say he's impeding progress, but he's not because we're almost at the top of his crease. He's able to fully slide over. It's like if I go up to you and I just kind of tap you in the head, is exactly what what Letestu did. But
This is
no,
another case of camera angles being an issue.
there's
Where
like the GIF that I'm using has multiple views.
the key view that makes it appear like this is the
Even
top down
even that
view.
overhead view. Do you want to see it again?
That top down view makes it look as though his hand physically got in the way. Of him
Ramo
getting
does not
across.
move at all. Letestu taps him. Ramo does not react or move at all. Now, if you're gonna call goaltender interference on that, then tapping into somebody in front of the net is now is now interference.
Well, it is.
No,
according to
running
NHL
into somebody in
rules.
front of the net by accident is now interference because that's exactly what Letestu did to Ramo. Calling that, if you're gonna call that,
Here's the
if you're gonna call
ultimate
that-
thing about that.
Yeah, if you're gonna call that,
It
you
was
gotta
a
call
weak
everything
call,
like that.
but
Because
it was the correct call.
it wasn't. Because if you're gonna call stuff like that, then half of the goals this year should be disallowed. Like that. What about that goal where fucking what's his face slid in the net? Galchenyuk.
They didn't challenge that.
Yeah, they did. They
Which?
did, and it was still a good goal. It was Galchenyuk's
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
goal.
whoa, 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 whoa! You gotta go it over. Which goal?
Galchenyuk's goal. It was Montreal against. I can't remember who it was. I'm sure somebody in the comment section will know what I'm talking about. Galchenyuk went sliding into the net. He clearly took out the goalie before the puck went in.
Gallagher versus Detroit, right?
Yes. He
No. They had to challenge it. He didn't know that he had to challenge it, so he didn't challenge it, and counted as a goal. He didn't challenge it.
They did
after the
challenge
wall.
it. I guarantee
Didn't
you
challenge
they
it. No, he did not challenge it.
Google it right now because I don't want to Google it on this. Google it right now.
Okay. No,
I guarantee they challenged it because what happened is
No, they did not challenge it.
Yeah.
They did not challenge
Yeah.
it. I remember because it said like later, like, oh, you have to challenge it right now.
Anyway,
Slides into
the problem with with that goal is that there's no major contact. He doesn't. Not only is he not in the crease, but Ramo almost bumps into him, and Letestu doesn't do anything to impede the progress of Ramo getting across to that shot. So calling that a no goal and that little touch is going to send if you're gonna call like that, call everything like that. But you can't call it differently. And the big issue I have with it is
it was reviewed. Okay, here's the thing.
Wha-
It was reviewed and allowed because in reviews you don't look at goalie interference, and then it wasn't challenged
okay.
because they didn't know that like you had to challenge all goalie interferences.
Right. All right. But okay, I don't know if you know this for some reason. I was gonna ask 6:30 Chad yesterday, didn't get a chance to get through. But
Yeah.
why the hell are the referees reviewing the goals, the challenges on a tablet in the rink? Why doesn't it go back to War Room in Toronto where they have more views? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that doesn't make
If they
sense.
review
I
every
think War
other
Room should handle
goal
that.
and every no goal, why don't they review?
They do
offsides?
technically have most camera angles.
I'm sure they
available,
do, but
like
it's a fucking tablet. And then the other side of it is then you're at least unbiased because you have the Toronto War Room making the decision for you.
yeah.
I don't understand the league's
I mean,
thought
War Room
process.
definitely doesn't get a decision wrong, right?
No, but then you at
Right?
least have a group
Like
of people.
LA game.
At least you have a group of people in that department who make that decision, rather than the two referees on the ice who are either going to get ripped on by the media, by everybody, or
Okay,
potentially
okay.
make the wrong call. Like it's
See, I'm not playing devil's advocate here just to play devil's advocate, but
if you have a different opinion, that's fine. But like that's
my-
not
my
a,
opinion
that's a
straight up
fucking
is that
goal. Like
from the perspective of a referee, you
It's a
can't
goal.
view that.
You can't.
as
That is
someone
not
getting
goaltender
in the way of
interference.
your ability to make the save.
If
Because
but he
imagine that
didn't. He was
Letestu didn't
screening
up his
him.
head there.
Like he made it's like getting bumped and then falling over dead.
Imagine if that bump didn't happen though.
Okay, if you look at it
Would
again,
he have made the save?
yeah, no, he wouldn't have.
I think he would have.
No, he wouldn't have. He wasn't even close across. Like he missed it by about by like a solid half second. And if you look
Okay,
at
okay.
it, he can't move. Letestu can't move anywhere else because he's being boxed out by the Flames defenseman. Like when he turns, his hand brushes, literally brushes against Ramo. He doesn't knock him out of position. Ramo's already looking at the puck. Ramo's actually already moving across crease when Letestu even hits when he nudges him. He doesn't move him out of the way at all. I keep freaking doing that. He doesn't move out of the way at all. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Ramo doesn't move his head. Ramo doesn't get bumped. Ramo
It
doesn't
should have been a
change his.
goal.
I don't know.
It should have been a goal, but it wasn't.
I
And unfortunately, based upon the NHL's current rules, the referees did call it correctly.
I disagree. I 100% disagree because and if it is, that's a weak ass soft bitch call. Like that's
Yeah, it
just
is. It is a soft call. It's a bad call. But it has more to do with the rule than the ref.
I I disagree, but I'm also not one to well yeah no I was gonna say blame the refs, but that's also a lie.
Robert Paulson or Doc Diggler is telling us it wasn't long ago that the NHL was beating their heads against the wall or to wall, trying to figure out how to get more scoring into games.
Well that's
And basically, what he said earlier is that it's more of an issue that people went to the rec hall to watch goals, and refs don't want to count them because of reasons.
um
$300 to get your boners killed. So, if
I
you want to see a dead boner, go no further than Robert Paulson,
I don't want to say that the
guy with the
refs are
boots.
calling back goals to decrease scoring, but that is a goal that has to be allowed. And
That's
especially like you mentioned, that's the thing is that if the NHL is going to want to increase scoring, and then they're going to call that as goaltender interference, that's just going to do the exact like you said, do the exact opposite. That's a joke.
Okay then.
We're at an hour 15, by the way.
Let's say two things and then we'll wrap up.
All right.
Are there any trades that you see that could happen sooner than later?
If
All
Lander
around
doesn't
NHL,
improve, he's
not only
gone.
Oilers.
If Lander doesn't improve, he's gone. I think.
Who?
Lander. With Draisaitl coming into his own, even if they keep him on the top line, and then with potentially
Do you think then that Draisaitl could find success on that third line,
depends who
or is
he's
his
paired.
chemistry with
Depends
Hall
who
a
he's paired with.
necessity? Hmm?
Depends who he's paired with.
Mhm.
I think he'd benefit from the third line minutes because he's obviously an offensive force. But the other side of it is, he's also He's also getting a lot of boost from Hall and Nugent Hopkins. The other one, I think if Fayne is scratched, and yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gone. I'm gonna say even before Schultz is back after Reinhardt's back potentially. Purcell's also gone to the deadline.
Okay. I do want to say Oilers archivist, though the Oilers are the ones taking the precedence for the broken review system in this circumstance. It's is not the only
There
time
was another one
that
in Toronto was
there
even
was one with
worse
Detroit where
actually.
that shouldn't have counted and they needed to challenge it, but they didn't know how the system worked.
There was also one in part of that I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but there was one
Yeah.
in Toronto day before yesterday where I can't remember who was in front of that. They showed it on the intermission report where he's clearly like a foot out from the goalie, and they disallowed the goal. It was a screen.
Yeah.
It was a legit screen. So they're
Professor
talking about.
Scribbles is providing us with yet another non-sarcastic comment. I think Fayne for Shea Weber, straight 1-for-1, is going to happen any day now.
Absolutely.
We've been talking
Guaranteed.
about it for
Guaranteed.
years and years, especially in HF boards. I mean, Adam's a great shit poster on HF boards, but I'm sure Nashville has warmed up to the idea.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But honestly, though, Nashville it's true. They have too many defensemen. So the possibility exists that might be on board. Also, St. Louis. Carl Gunnarsson is running out of a contract at the end of this season. He might be a rental that we go after, although the GM for St. Louis has indicated that he's more interested in re-signing Carl Gunnarsson.
I don't want to go after if we go after Bufflin, I'm just gonna throw myself over a bridge. Like I don't want
Why?
because I don't know because reasons.
Bufflin will be
because of school,
amazing.
but yeah, he's so good.
I mean, like, you get the big hit. Like, you're there. Like the big hit for $300, dude.
Did we pay that for Graba? I don't know. Like, I don't think the Jets are gonna re-sign him. I have a
I
feeling
think the
that
Jets are
he's gonna
resigning.
go into free agency, and he's
Yes,
gonna
that
get
is
paid
true.
somewhere, and it's gonna be some poor team that's gonna think he's gonna be a number one defenseman, and then we're gonna be talking next year about how Bufflin has regressed and he's absolute crap now, and his Corsi's terrible, but in reality, he's
His
just
course is actually quite good.
well, that's because
It's just
he's
surprising.
also not
Honestly, I
playing top
don't
pairing
understand
minutes,
it.
and
I think who's his defensive partner? Myers.
I don't know. I don't watch the Jets enough.
I think his defensive partners are always carrying for like making up for the fact that he's not
More than
great.
likely. I mean, like it's kind of like Brent Burns, where I think he jumps up a lot more than he probably should. Brent Burns is actually a good two-way defenseman, though.
Okay,
So with that
okay. This
said,
is really good from Oilers Archivist, so I'm just gonna say this. So first he comments HF boards equals sewage, and then he replies, wait, no, sewage has a use.
yeah, that's about right. I've
10
never
out of
visited
10.
that site. I don't
10
ever
out of
want
10.
to.
I rate 8 out of 8, great bait. Professor Scribbles, genuinely, I think St. Louis would be a great team to go after. If not, Anaheim, if they don't get it together soon, might be looking to shake things up too.
I considered that, and that's not an impossibility.
I also think that Anaheim,
They'll probably be
I
looking to
don't
acquire
think they'll
picks.
do it
To be
because
honest,
their issue is in their bottom six, and our issue is also in our bottom six and our defense.
which is funny because we thought we had depth. Again, I think that's part of injuries. Big part of injuries. Lander
We
has to
have
be
a
better.
lot more injury. Key thing is we have a lot of injuries, but our key issue is that our injuries are to our best defensemen, and that's the place where we
And
didn't
our best right
have
winger.
a lot of room to like
Y-
flex
Yeah.
our adaptability.
Um,
And then I guess wrap things up, or do you have something else you
I
want
was
to?
gonna say I think Jared Spurgeon is a potential target. He's been mentioned
Yeah.
before on the trading block.
Mm.
I don't know if he's particularly good, but I think that he's somebody we could get for Fayne, and he's more of a puck moving defenseman than Fayne is, which isn't saying a whole lot. But
Yeah.
feel like that's somebody that Fayne could be traded for, because the thing we have to consider is if we're gonna want to going after somebody like um, Seth Jones or somebody on I don't think anybody's saying Seth Jones, but if anybody from Nashville is going to drive a hard bargain, Fayne plus sweetener is not going to be enough. It's going to have to be
No.
Fayne plus a good prospect plus picks plus So for trading for Fayne, we're not going to get a whole lot back.
No.
We're going to get a third pairing defenseman. That's going to
Okay.
he asks us to play second pairing.
Okay.
So unless whatever. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We've gone
That's pretty
on
much it.
for way too long.
We're still looking for guests if y'all are interested.
Yep.
If you know someone that's like really big in another team and we're about to play them soon,
Yeah, we're looking for people from other
let us
teams
know.
too.
Um, Doc Diggler says later masturbators. Oilers Archivist says peace out guys, great show. And Adam is recognizing the
I
fact
I
that
am
we're
I
still
am
live.
yes, thank you guys so much. No, that's peace on all worlds. If you watch Rick and Morty, um,
Oh, oh right.
thanks for joining us, guys.
You
Um,
piece of shit.
hopefully James can join us next time. But thanks
Yeah.
James for watching.
James was
W.
just a little busy with some life stuff,
Yeah,
so he'll join us next time.
understandable. We'll probably try to. I think we're gonna try to do every 2 weeks from now on,
Yeah.
and we'll post on
And
Twitter
this
more often.
is hopefully we're more consistent.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, thanks
Thanks
for
again for
joining
joining
us.
us. We'll see you guys later.